Welcome to Gimcrack Video. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? You got anything new to watch?
No, but we are running a special on sequels.
Is that over there on that shelf that says that it's not for human consumption?
No, on the one right next to it that says 3 for $1.
Oh, let's just grab some. What could go wrong?
Enjoy your selection.
It's a good thing that Heaven decided to push the reset button on the apocalypse. We probably should have recorded that. It would have been good audio.
Yeah, but you can't have your microphone on you just everywhere you go.
That's just true. It just really suspends disbelief if you are constantly recording things.
Yeah, maybe we should look into that. Get little lapel mics and just follow us around everywhere.
Yeah, it's an option in case we want to start any spin-off shows or anything.
Yeah,
it's like a good idea.
Yeah, not a bad idea at all. But it took us watching Josh Kirby to save the world.
Yeah. Charles Band had to be good for something.
Yeah.
But you were right. It was a good idea that for us to go ahead after that whole fiasco and start this expanding our brand and business into like some other ventures, like opening this summer camp for future podcasters.
Yeah, that's exactly. We got a good deal on the place, so.
Yeah, no one was like, it was a really good deal. Like, how did you do that? It's so cheap. No one was like massacred here or anything, right?
Why don't we start the episode?
Weird. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Found on Shelf, the only movie podcast where quality isn't a prerequisite for enjoyment. Every episode, we celebrate the kinds of questionable movies that inspire weeks of online discourse. As this is our third season, we have made the questionable decision to discuss the third film installments in franchises. I am your problematic frave, camp counselor Patrick, and with me, as always, is my long-suffering co-host, Camp Counselor Dustin. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
Did you say camp counselor or cunt counselor? I didn't quite catch that.
I'm camp counselor, but I can't say that I'm not serving cunt.
Okay. So, yes, I'm alive. We've stepped out of the fire and into at least it's something better.
All right. That's a good way of looking at it. And with us this week, we have a very special guest who volunteered to come all the way out here to this formerly abandoned campground for this episode. Cammy. Cammy, how are you doing tonight?
Well, howdy, happy campers. Glad to be here. Doing pretty well, it's a tits out kind of day.
So speaking of counselor serving cunt.
Or cunty counselors. I don't know what we're doing here. We are off to a roll, aren't we?
It's June. It's Pride. So for the first time, we thought we would actually do a Pride episode. We're doing
maybe not
Sleepaway Camp Part 3.
And you're awfully proud of yourself for that, aren't you?
Well, yeah, because it's camp.
Mm-hmm. So you fit the summer. There's not a lot of good Part 3 choices for Pride.
There's really not, because we discussed some other queer-centric episodes, and going through the Part 3 list, very slow picking.
Yeah, not a lot there.
I gotta say, as a trans woman, you recommended this to me, and I went in blind.
Oh.
There was a bit of, let's say, trepidation. I'd heard some stuff, heard some rumors.
Are you aware of the first movie?
Had not seen it.
Okay, Patrick.
I may not be the best friend.
Does
Oh no, you're the greatest. I gotta say, I loved this.
Does Cammy fully understand Angela?
Well, here's the fun thing: is Cammy, you did go back and watch all of the other movies, right?
Oh, this was a journey.
Yeah.
I watched number 3, and there's this wonderful scene. I just want to jump right to it. You got your Barney, this cop sitting there, and he's listing out kills of, what are you going to do? Are you going to stab me with a knife? Are you going to kill me with a chainsaw? Are you going to use battery acid? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, these all have to be references. how did we get here? What led to Angela as she is now? And I had to go back and see. So
Okay.
I do want to say it's the official stance of this podcast that Angela did nothing wrong.
absolutely, I'm in agreement with that.
Well, I don't know if it's complete agreement. Are you talking about the first one or this one? Because
Both.
there's questionables and some people that didn't deserve to die, but there's definitely people that did.
We can go on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah,
We'll do some analysis.
It's gotta.
So, but before we get too far into it, I guess we should talk a little bit about all of our histories with the Sleepaway Camp movies. Dustin, when did you first see these movies?
I first saw part 3 about a week ago, I think.
Okay.
If I saw it before, I didn't really remember it.
And did you see the other films prior?
I have seen part 1 a few times. I saw it many moons ago when I worked at Blockbuster. I rented it there, and I never got the second one, although I wanted to watch it. And I can't remember if I saw the second one or not. Maybe
You would know. You would definitely know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would I?
So I'm going to come out and say I fucking love these movies. I have always loved Sleepaway Camp with the same zeal with I love Leprechaun movies for similar reasons. They're just wild abandon. All of them are completely unhinged.
I have to say, if you watch 3 and then you go back to see where things started with 1, you sit there and you think to yourself, how did we get from here to here? And so you have to watch 2.
Girl, did you just machete order Sleepaway Camp?
I did.
Yeah. But tell me you didn't watch 4, did you?
No, but it's on the list.
It's so hard to get a copy of 4. Jesus.
It sounds horrible.
I want to come out and say, if you remember Lockdown.
The cookie movie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So before
Locked Away, the Christmas with Cookies? No?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, we're talking about that specifically, of course.
Okay.
There was a meme going around a while back that's like, how bad was the pandemic? And people are like, I thought I was doing okay, but then I look back at what I was actually doing and it seems insane. During lockdown, I reached a point of desperation in which I re-edited all 3 of these movies.
Yeah. I do, in between episodes of Tiger King, I think that's what you were doing.
It was exactly right. We were watching Tiger King and re-editing Sleepaway Camp, replacing all of the music with Shakira songs and going from there.
Mm-hmm.
You reached out to me about a half hour before I started watching Sleepaway Camp 3. I was going to watch your edited version, and that would have been my first exposure.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You definitely don't want to watch that if we were going to seriously talk about the films. Cammy, do you want to give us a pitch on what Sleepaway Camp 3 is? How if you only had 30 seconds to sell me on watching Sleepaway Camp 3?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Do you have 5 minutes before you're going to go insane if you don't see tits and or blood? Do you just want to have the best and most joyous camp experience you can think of? That's it. That's all you need. We got Angela. We got fun kills.
So actually, I like that you said more than 5 minutes because it does average as 1 death every 5 minutes in Sleepaway Camp 3.
That's fantastic.
I was looking at it this evening, and it took 2 minutes 40 seconds for the first kill.
Yeah, they don't
Nice.
fuck around in Sleepaway Camp. They get right to the good stuff.
Yeah, you barely made it through the credits before you're seeing nudity.
Also
So-
true.
You're just
Yeah.
on it. I do have the official trailer if you would like to hear it.
Well, why don't you roll that big, beautiful bean footage?
All right.
I know that in the next 3 days we'll get to know each other much better. When we all get together again, I promise it won't be the same.
Angela's back to slash last year's record. Last year's Camp Carnage was so much fun that Angela has decided to return for another season.
Whatever happened to Angela Baker?
Nobody knows. When'd you learn to chop wood like that?
I've never chopped wood before, but I've chopped other things.
Those immoral young campers. When will they ever learn?
Nobody wants to go to a camp where everyone's been slaughtered. What's your favorite, color?
Blood red.
How many have you killed this time? You'll need 2. What's it gonna be?
A gun. Like every time I go to camp, somebody loses their head.
This year, Camp's a real killer. Angela is seeing to that. Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland.
Party all night! Teenage Wasteland!
They said the thing.
Oh, yes.
Oh God!
Great soundtrack.
Yeah, right.
It fits it so well. It's such a breezy movie, and it just got that momentum from like first frame.
The first, which was I was gonna say that was tits, but it wasn't. It was like 10 seconds later.
Yeah, the first frame was pretty much just a chick in the bed, so it was just panties. And then we went boobs and just a few seconds later. So yeah, they eased into it, half naked and then topless.
Sure, of course, as you do. So I guess for the uninitiated, a brief history of the Sleepaway Camp franchise. Okay. These movies are insane. The first movie is the brainchild of aspiring writer-director Robert Hiltzik. So the thing about Robert is he wanted to be a filmmaker. Sleepaway Camp is his first big project. If you've ever seen Sleepaway Camp, if you've ever seen Sleepaway Camp, you'll notice a really strange dedication at the beginning of the movie. It says, "To Mom, a doer."
Okay.
One of the worst slasher movies you have ever seen in your life begins to play. The thing about that is the reason he was able to make it is actually, unfortunately, his mother did pass away. And as part of a settlement for her death, he received a large portion of money, which he then used to make this film.
She didn't die by speedboat, did she?
She did not. This movie's so strange. So Sleepaway Camp, I think, comes out in '83. It's a product of a rush, like a slasher arms race. Because so Halloween comes out, everyone wants to make a slasher movie. So the first thing that people do when they start breaking down the formula of Halloween is what? It's sex and blood. Teenagers are behaving badly and they get murdered. How do we find a way for a whole bunch of teenagers to behave badly? Well, what if they have parents? That's a problem. Where are teenagers unsupervised, isolated, and here's the clincher, where would it be cheap to film? And so the summer camp slasher was born, and it was born with initially 3 movies. You have Friday the 13th, Part 1, The Burning, and Madman. They all start filming in 1980. They all start filming at the same time. Friday the 13th is the first one out the gate. That's the one that sticks. That's the one that becomes the big flagship slasher for camp movies in the 80s. The other 2 are related. So The Burning and Madman were both inspired by the Cropsey legend, I think of Long Island, but it's in the northern part of the U.S. There's a legend about a madman terrorizing teens, and it's called the Cropsey legend, and it's got some basis in reality in terms of, I think the actual story involved like overpopulated asylums, but there's a great movie on it called Cropsey, which I encourage people to go watch. The thing about it is, The Burning gets released first, and the people making Madman spend 3 years retooling their movie because they don't want to come out as the same film. Burning is the gateway with which the Weinsteins get into the film industry. That's their big hit. And then Madman eventually gets released, and it's boring as fuck. It is literally one of the most boring horror movies I've ever seen. There's a couple of good scenes in it, but it's very slow. It's very strange. It comes out in '83, which is the same year this movie comes out, which is aping on a similar vibe. But the other movies had come out first. There had already been 2 Friday the they're on their 3rd or 4th Friday the 13th movie by the time Sleepaway Camp comes out. So Robert had time to watch all these other movies and notice that they don't kill actual kids in these movies. Like all of these counselors are like clearly 20-year-old people playing teenagers. What if we made a movie at a summer camp with actual kids? And that's the genesis of the idea of Sleepaway Camp. And then he has an idea for what he considers to be a twist.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone remembers in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the movie is unhinged on different levels before we even get there. But the general gist is Angela her family is having a fun day at the beach. There's an accident with a speedboat, which kills her father and her brother. Or no, sorry, her father and her sister. And then she gets sent to live with Aunt Helen. Is it Aunt Helen? I don't remember.
Sure.
And the plot takes point from there. Now, the movie is actually pretty successful, but Robert can never get the money to make another one. No one wants to give him money to do anything. But eventually his co-producer, Jerry Silva...
But you didn't talk about the twist.
We're getting to that.
Okay. Just making sure.
I'm telling the story of how Sleepaway Camp 3 happens.
Okay.
The first movie takes its time. Patrick's doing the same.
Yeah, he is. All right.
So Jerry Silva wants to make the new movies. Now, I've heard a story that Robert Hilton was approached to write a script for this, and that his script was thrown out. I've heard that didn't happen, so I'm not sure which way to confirm it. My research is not full of rigor. No one's employing me for that. So Jerry Silva, he comes out and he wants to make this movie, so he gets in touch with I think he's the head of Double Helix Films at this point, and so he grabs a whole bunch of like hired guns together, and they start making Sleepaway Camp 2. And he's so pleased with the way Sleepaway Camp 2 is progressing during production, he immediately commissioned Sleepaway Camp 3 to be written and produced at the same time. So what happens is the writer on set now has to write Sleepaway Camp 3 as they're making Sleepaway Camp 2. There are 3 days. Sleepaway Camp 2 shuts down production. There is a 3-day break, and then Sleepaway Camp 3 starts production. Both films are shot in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Oh.
Like a Polonia Brothers record.
So that's why we get these weird beats, and like each movie feels slightly different. The way I like to say is that as every Sleepaway Camp is both the best and worst Sleepaway Camp. That's how we get here. That's how we get to Sleepaway Camp 3. Angela is bullied and picked on in the first movie, and she kills people out of revenge. In the second movie, she's had some psychological issues. She's moved past the mass murders in the first movie, is living under an assumed alias, and is a camp counselor years and years later now. Instead of attending a camp, she's now a counselor, and she starts murdering people again. And Sleepaway Camp 3 takes place 1 year later. I guess that's the gist of what I want to say before I say the following thing.
Okay.
The Sleepaway Camp movie, Sleepaway Camp, has what is probably considered to be the most infamous, they say twist in horror. If you do not want that spoiled for you, you should stop listening now. We'll watch all 3 movies and come back. We'll give you
the
about
recommended order is 3, then 1, then 2.
All right, machete order. All right, we're going to give you to the count of 5. Then we're going to start ruining everything about these movies. All right, that should be enough time. What's everyone want to say about Sleepaway Camp?
Go. Just say that. You got to say the twist. You got to just get the twist out there.
So, there is a specific type of horror movie that exists before the year 1990, and you will encounter it in the wild every now and then. There's like 2 or 3 of them. And they're transphobic in a way in which they seem to not realize that trans people exist. And I would classify that as Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we've talked about Sleepaway Camp before, and it's one of those, like, it's like really good, but really problematic.
Yeah, I would say so. Cammy, what's your vibe on it?
I gotta say that going through it, it almost seemed respectful for a while because they just treated her like any other girl. And there are these things about her that are different, obviously, but it's not villainized until that last little scene there.
Yeah, the very last scene. Yeah. So so the very last scene is, and they show the twist. So the twist is beforehand in this movie they show you the 2 kids at the boat. It's Peter and the unnamed sister. I don't think they actually say her name is Angela. I could be wrong, but they show the murder scene. They show you that 1 kid has died, the dad has died, and then years later they show you the aunt with her son, and the child who is Angela, and you assume, oh, that's the little girl. But in the twist, at the very end, they show a flashback, and the aunt, who is an absolutely insane person, both in acting methodology and in written character, decides that since they already have a boy in the house, they can't have two boys, so decides to raise Peter as Angela, a girl. And the twist is, oh God, that's the twist. Everyone's shocked that that's the twist, and that's the motivator for, I'm gonna say a lot of the murders because she's being bullied, but that's like the ultimate freeze frame, right? That they're trying to get shock value out of.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the films, Angela is actually trans and gets affirming care, and then is mostly referred to by the right gender pronouns and name for most of all of the third movie and most of the second movie, with the exception of a cop's son. Yeah, so that scene, there's a scene in which Angela is naked at the end of the film, and that's supposed to be the shock value scene. But I do want to say how that was achieved is no one on set wanted to do this scene at all. So they found a guy at a 7-Eleven, this college kid who was in town, and they bribed him with money and Jack Daniels, and he got drunk.
Always gets my pants off.
Yeah, they got drunk, and he got drunk, and he put the mask on and he shot the scene. He was so upset he was crying, and he has never revealed his identity or spoken about it.
Oh, it's time I come and tell the truth, Patrick.
Knew Angela was a ginger. That is the infamous Sleepaway Camp.
And it's one of those. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I almost forgot about the aunt being so twisted part.
Mm-hmm. That actress is a real estate agent in real life.
That explains the vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the history of Angela Baker, the notorious butcher.
The Angel of Death.
The Angel of Death. That's right.
You know.
Yeah, and Sleepaway Camp 2 had one of my favorite like movie covers, and I remember having that at Blockbuster, and it was awesome because it was just her with a backpack with like the Freddy glove and the Jason mask in there.
Because that's a scene in the movie. Both of those things are in the movie.
It's an incredible poster. See, maybe I swear I've seen the movie, but maybe it didn't. I don't know.
Well, the mask does make an appearance in this film too.
It does. Yes, that it does. As well as a joke.
There are so many things in the third movie that come up that I didn't realize were references to the other movies till I went back.
Yeah, see, maybe you're onto something with the machete order.
Yeah, it could be. It's exactly like watching. What was the machete order? What was it?
It was you watch episode 4.
Yeah.
And then you go back and watch episode
1, 2, and
3. No, you skip 1 completely.
And then do 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm like, you missed Darth Maul.
No, you watch 1 and 2. You watch 4. You watch 4. You watch 4 and 5. Then you go back and watch 2 and 3, and then you watch 6.
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
that was the original machete order.
We got there.
All right. So we'll call this the Cammy order for Sleepaway Camp.
I love it. I gotta say though, as infamous as that one particular scene is, when I was first told I'd be watching Sleepaway Camp, my mind went to one of the scenes of one of the Friday 13th movies. I'm not sure whether it was, Jason 10 or Jason X, or if it was Freddy vs. Jason, but he's stuck in a simulation and there's these two campers acting sexy in sleeping bags, and he picks one up and starts beating the other with them.
That's such a great scene.
Jason X. That was great.
I am telling you, there always needs to be an in-space sequel. Sleepaway Camp 6 in space. Let's do it. Let's go right now.
I'm waiting for Saw and Scream to go to space.
Mm-hmm. Scream would work.
Right?
Honestly, just sending her down to Houston to space camp? Possibilities. 0G kills.
That could work.
God, that's really good. Damn.
Are your children driving you absolutely insane this summer? Don't you wish there was a place you could dump them for a few weeks so you can catch a damn break? The Found on Shelf podcast has a solution for you. We have developed a once-in-a-lifetime summer camp experience to help develop your little ones for the future while you catch your breath. Campcast 2024. is the #1 rated camp experience for future podcasters. Your children will learn invaluable podcast-related life skills, such as creating a concept for a show that will disappear in an already overcrowded market, downloading Audacity, learning how to network by inserting the fact that they have a podcast in a forced and inorganic way into every conversation, buying their first Blue Yeti mic before everyone else tells them they should buy a Rodecaster or a Shure, failing to get sponsorships, and tricking their friends and family to being guests on their show. Campcast 2024 is now accepting candidates for this invaluable experience. Contact a salesperson today.
I just want to say, like, the other thing from my mind coming in with a trans perspective is anytime I hear there's a trans killer, that's the big twist, right, for this movie. And that's one of those things all I had heard about coming into this. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, how is this going to be framed? I've only ever seen like Silence of the Lambs, and I don't even think Buffalo Bill's necessarily trans. I'm not sure. But
Hannibal Lecter seems not to think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's trans-trender Hannibal Lecter. Buffalo Bill isn't real trans.
If it's not coming from, Buffalo Bill, I don't think we can, confirm it one way or another. But when that's like the only rep that you really get so far, seeing someone like Angela, who they only you wouldn't know unless you knew. And like at the end of the movie, that when they finally show it, but like there's all these little things here and there that are like, yeah, you don't like to shower with the other girls, or your boobs haven't come in yet, and it's like, that's actually really great rep. And then it gets to the end and you're like, ooh, all that good faith just down the toilet. But you have to remember, I watched 3 first, and the only
there's zero mention of
exactly
except for she wouldn't take her bra off that one scene when all the other women were topless, and she's just like, no, keep mine on. But that was literally the only kind of even subtle hint, but that could just be played off as just being shy. So
well, okay, I'll say, and the second one keeps it to 2 things. One, the explanation of what happened in the first movie, and then the cop's son, at the end, right? I want to point this out. In the second one, he said the son's like, well, after they sent Angela to the asylum, they decided part of her health care would be, gender affirming care, and they medically transitioned Angela, and this fucking teenager, he goes, as the end of the spooky story, and our parents' taxes paid for it. Like a goddamn headline on Fox News.
God, I wish.
Yeah, I heard that shit.
I mean, cheap. For real. But yeah,
they were going through that horror store, and it was and she got electroshock therapy, and I was like, are they trying to use that to explain the weird moralistic story of the day kill she's doing in number 2?
I mean, maybe. I think that's mostly just they anytime anyone goes to an asylum in horror movies, they're and electroshock.
It's sort of that borderline between kink and horror.
It's also this thing where there's no such thing as real mental illness in horror movies. It's always cartoon crazy people. So there's no real mental health institutions. They're always cartoon. It's Saturday morning cartoon nightmare versions of asylums. So there's always that.
Yeah. Well, my headcanon for this series, the crazy aunt for the first one, it wasn't that, oh, I already had a boy, so I'm just going to make you a girl. I think, she saw this poor kid who had weird gender issues and was like, okay, I'm going to support that. And since I'm a doctor myself, I'm going to go and set up my own physicals and stuff so that they don't have to worry about that. And Ricky, ultimate cousin / ally, he is the forefront defender for Angela throughout the first movie. And good on him. When it came to a camp setting and sibling sort of antics. They were really good. I felt genuinely at camp.
Okay, so Michael Hitchcock is the writer of these movies. He wrote under the pen name Fritz Gordon because he didn't want to be associated with these movies.
Oh,
But the reason he wrote, but since he wrote them, he wrote 3 while they were filming 2 in less than 3 weeks. That's why every character in Sleepaway Camp 3 has obviously a working name. They didn't cite it on. He was just pulling names. They're all named after either characters from West Side Story. And when he ran out of characters from West Side Story, he started using the Brady Bunch.
okay.
That's why Snowboy's in West Side Story.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's also why you've got a Marsha.
All right. All
And
right.
Greg. Hmm?
I was going to say, but he
Yeah.
looks like he's from the Lost Boys.
Do we want to talk more about Sleepaway Camp, or do we want to talk about Sleepaway Camp 3 as it
I
happens?
think we've caught up on parts 1 and 2.
We can
sure
we'll pull
more.
from it as we go.
I like that.
Sleepaway Camp 3 has one of the best openings. It's so wild. This kid named Maria, we'll call her. She's meant to be a teenager, but she's clearly all of the teenagers are like mid-20s to early 30s.
Yeah.
I should say this one other thing. Before at Sleepaway Camp, the first movie, because they're all kids, and Angela's like 12 or 13, she's played by the 13-year-old Felissa Rose, who is an amazingly fun person. She's a great actress, and she's always fun on any kind of like documentary she pops up on. She's always really good-natured, and she's great in all of the horror movies she shows up in. She does the circuits a lot, and you'll see her on The Last Drive-In, and you'll see her pop up in movies like Hatchet. And
every time I see any pictures of her at any convention, everybody's just like, she was amazing in person. She's just like the nicest person you could meet.
Yeah, she's great. And also, I'm sorry.
That's the best you could hope for.
Also,
Right?
Fun fact: her husband was a huge fan of these movies. The band he was in, you know this band, CKY, one of the Margera brothers band. CKY it stands for Can't Kill Yourself, and is a reference to Sleepaway Camp. And he loved Sleepaway Camp and had a crush on Angela. And that's the reason that they got together. So that's cool. It's a fun little love story. Like, she tells a much better version of it on the Last Drive-In episode where they actually where they actually talk about Sleepaway Camp. So go watch that because it's great. The reason I point that out is she is not Angela in the sequels. Although the sequels do take place 5 years later and they were filmed 5 years later, they do not tap the 5 years older Felissa Rose for these movies. Instead, they get a different up-and-coming actress, Bruce Springsteen's little sister, Pamela Springsteen.
That was a weird poll.
Yeah, Pamela Springsteen. Well, she'd been in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and a couple other movies beforehand as cheerleaders and stuff. And so Pamela Springsteen is who got the part for this. She did both of these movies in like 1 or 2 films after, and then she decided she didn't really care for acting. And she's been a really famous and successful photographer ever since then. But Pamela Springsteen is the older Angela Baker.
And in parts 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Sleepaway Camp 3. In the end of Sleepaway Camp 2, Angela has murdered the entire camp and disappears into the night. They have a really great scene with her in a cowgirl hat. Like she's like, "Is it howdy, partner?" in freeze frame.
All right.
I think so. Cammy, you've watched this sooner than me, right?
It made my day.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
It's sort of the last unknown kill, too. Did they survive? Did they not? Well, they were picked up by a serial killer, so who knows?
Yeah.
She did not, because the death count when you watch it on screen is 18, but in this movie, they say she has 19 victims from the prior year. So unfortunately, that girl didn't make it.
Mystery solved.
She's been on the lam for an entire year and decides to go to camp again because that's what it is.
Yeah, and quite the elaborate plan.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So she I don't know if this is supposed to be New York or if it's supposed to be where it is, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, where they filmed this. But yeah, Maria is the girl who's going to camp, and as she is leaving the house to go to camp,
why do we need such a tight close up of her boobs and the tattoo that says milkshake? I thought maybe that was going to be referenced at some point, but no, there's really just
No, it was just gratuitous, but it did bring all the boys to the yard.
It wasn't foreshadowing when Angela's tits were exposed that she's not Maria?
Well, no, she was just wearing the giant bra thing.
Yeah, which is the same
Angela.
one from the last movie, because I'm sure costuming was like, well, we got one, so we can't keep going.
Right, just keep using it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say giant wig.
Because she has that too. Because what happens in this movie is Maria is the girl who's going to camp. She walks out her door to go catch the bus, and a dump truck, begins chasing her. A trash truck begins chasing her.
A big garbage truck just starts chasing her.
So the big garbage truck is chasing her down an alley and runs her over, and out of it steps Angela, dressed exactly like Maria. And she finally solves that age-old problem.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Patrick.
What a dildo.
Sound bites too.
So she's gonna go to camp.
I have got so
Maria.
many questions about this Angela Maria thing, and this is just the first 3 minutes of the movie. Did nobody decide to follow this truck? I think if I were to see a garbage truck chasing down a teenage girl on the street, I might do a little bit of follow up on that and see is she cool? Is she all right?
This is a moment where you need to stay in your lane. Otherwise, you may have a garbage truck chasing you down.
That's a risk sometimes you got to take. I'd be. Is it really that hard to outrun a garbage truck? You couldn't just duck into a little convenience store or something?
I feel like Angela would have crashed through the walls of the convenience store.
That's possible. That's possible. And how did Angela know exactly what outfit Maria would have? Was she stalking her? Which I want to see the prequel to this movie.
The casing of Maria.
Yes, when Angela met Maria, I want to watch that movie.
I think we've answered all of his questions by saying it was written in less than 3 weeks.
This is true.
Although what I do love is she gets on the bus pulls away, and written on the wall in graffiti behind her is spray painted, "Angela is back." And then hard cut to the credits with heavy metal and blood on the screen. God, that is you were in for a fun movie at that point.
Yeah, a movie that is not going to be taking itself very serious at all.
Yeah, because these are definitely comedies first and foremost.
And another thing I really love is when horror movies do daytime kills.
Yeah,
it's always done in the dark or in the shadows or in something. When you just have one in broad daylight, I just love it. And there was plenty of that in this film.
Most of the Sleepaway Camp movies take place mostly in the day.
Right.
Yeah, well, they're happy campers. They like, being out in the sun.
Yeah, that's true. So
this camp is kind of a weird concept that they're testing out.
Yeah, it's much like this future podcasters camp.
Yes.
So what happened? The first movie is shot at Robert Hiltzick's real summer camp that he used to go to as a kid.
All right.
But it's called in the movie it's called Camp Arawak. In the second movie, they go to Camp
Anawana?
Rolling Hills.
Oh.
And in this movie, it's Camp New Horizons, but it is the same exact T-shirts as the last movie, just with a new logo.
That was a great touch. I like that.
So it's a concept camp. Is it Nadine and her husband Herman?
Lily and Herman.
Herman. Ugh.
Oh, see,
I got problems with Herman.
That's not even just the Brady Bunch. He's just pulling from sitcoms. That's the Munsters.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when I first saw, what was his name? Travis Troy, the one who gets together with Marcia. I was thinking, this a Count Uncle Jesse from Full House?
He does kind of look like him.
Yeah. Mark Oliver is Tony?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, Tony, West Side Story, Marcia, the Brady Bunch.
Marcia.
I knew there had to be a T in there somewhere because it's not an Angela.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the name Arab comes from, though.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice of names.
Considering how it's spelled and how it's pronounced, yeah, it is.
Yeah. So yeah, the concept of this camp is they take a bunch of the rich kids, because this is every 80s movie trope. You got to mix the rich kids with the poor trouble street kids, and hilarity ensues. So that's what they did here. And Angela's Maria that she's becoming now is part of the troubled kids.
Yeah, and let's just talk a minute to talk about Angela's look, because it's great. It's your denim jacket and stuff from the 80s, but the wig or the hairstyle she's wearing is just blown out and frizzed the fuck out. And she has these giant glasses, like she is a burnout from God knows where. That's great.
Because she looks like she would be like some groupie on a Bruce Springsteen concert. So,
and it's the fun.
Is that troublesome? I don't know.
I don't know. You know, the Sleepaway Camp is it? There's nothing not problematic about Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
But I love her vibe in this movie because she's just kind of done with it all.
I think she is having so much fun. To me, this is her reliving one where I just want to go have a happy camping experience. And, you know, this time she's not taking anyone's shit. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think that she gets more and more fun as like she has more and more fun as it goes on. But like there's definitely moments where she's like, God, I gotta kill this one too, or like she's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna hit you in the head with a stick
repeatedly. Yeah,
so good.
Those are the best.
although
Just
if I saw like a 50, 60-year-old guy perving on a teenager, I too would hit them with a stick until they fell unconscious.
Yeah, that whole scene was a problem.
Yeah, so I made
That
that
whole
so
scene, his whole character arc, flirting with her, like showing off his Playboy bunny buckle.
Okay,
yeah,
so
and he's like,
I made that very uncomfortable in my recut because I make like a musical montage that's set to Underneath Your Clothes by Shakira and like soft blue lighting and slow motion.
But they do really commit to his bit, because they kind of foreshadow it a little bit earlier when they're lighting off firecrackers, and he's again playing with his belt buckle, and he's just like thrusting and shrugging and laughing, and I'm like, dude, you're 50, and these are supposed to be high school kids.
Yeah, so this is Herman, the husband of Lily, person operating the camp, perving on the kids that are actually there. Herman is played by Michael J. Pollard. Hey, Dustin, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize his voice?
Oh gosh, yes, very much so, but I don't know from where.
He is Psycho on the Toxic Crusaders.
Okay. I don't think that was my first guess, but his voice, he's got one of those voices and faces. Like, I'm like, what do I know you from?
He's in a ton of stuff. He's in Erie, Indiana. He's in Tales from the Crypt. He's in, like, you name it, he's been in it.
Yeah, just kind of that weird guy.
Yeah, he basically plays the same part. He was in House of a Thousand Corpses.
There you go.
He was in Skeeter. Have you seen Skeeter, the movie about the giant mosquitoes that kill people?
No, we watched Mosquito Man instead.
That's right, because I had seen Skeeter. Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. He's in Dick Tracy as Bug Bailey. I don't know if you've seen that.
Okay. Yeah.
So what you're saying is he's usually a pest.
Yeah, his role in every movie he is ever in seems to be creep. Oh, he plays Herman in Scrooge. He plays the guy with the same name in Scrooged.
Oh, interesting.
Wait, are you saying the A Christmas Carol parody with
Bill Murray? Yeah. Scrooged. One of my favorites. I watch it every year.
It's a good one. I don't watch it that often, but I need to catch it this year.
Watch that Christmas with Cookies, my new new traditions here.
And you didn't want to add Jack Frost 2 Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman to your Christmas rotation?
No, I'm all right. I'm all right with that. But I got a good Christmas one for next year that I'm already working on. So
Jesus fuck. Like when he says that, I can feel the sword of Damocles hanging by a thread above me.
It's like mistletoe, but you don't have to kiss it.
Oh, yes, he does.
So yeah, Maria infiltrates this weird experimental camp because she wants to go camping again. And then one by one, as the movie progresses, the the campers all do something to infringe on her, so she murders them.
Yeah, and we do get introduced to a third camp counselor because they were waiting for the third camp counselor.
Yeah, so in the second movie, she kills this guy. Was he the primary love interest of her favorite camper?
Yeah. So the one that she was, real good friends of was crushing on this guy pretty much the whole movie. And so at the end, when he gets a little tied up, she kills him. Cop chops off his head.
No, it's great because he dead names her and then she immediately cuts his head off. It's like beat for beat.
And I see where it's like problematic, but at the same time,
really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, Angela is such an icon to me. Like there are there's representation out there, of course, but to me, I gotta say, I love this T-girl swag that she's got going on. And I now have one of her. She is now one of my top 2 Angelas. The other is Lansbury.
I was going to say, it's got to be Lansbury.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, unfortunately, I could not find a Murder, She Wrote connection for this movie. I did try.
Yeah.
I did try. I don't think I overlooked it, but if I did, get in the comments. Let me know. Let me know how I fucked up on my research. Give us some engagement. But I couldn't find anything, unfortunately.
It happens. It happens.
It probably there's probably like an 8 degrees of Kevin Bacon that it will get us there on this one, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not looking through set designers to see. Not this time, at least.
Not this time, at least.
This is your call.
Well, it's because it's my call. If it was your call, you'd be looking through set designers. You're like, okay, this grip was a grip on this episode.
Yeah, I've done that before.
They used the same Apple box for blocking here and here.
It's the people need to know these facts.
Yeah. So that guy's dad is a cop, and he's one of the counselors in this movie.
So and he and then they split off into 3 groups. They kind of mix the
kids up, and so each counselor takes one group into the woods,
which is so convenient.
And
apparently far enough to where they can't hear each other scream or smell of tent burning.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. I'm like, where are you that no one else notices this?
The thing is, like, there's even points where they walk back and forth between like their distinct camps and the main camp, and you're thinking to yourself that it's still daylight out. It doesn't look like a lot of time has passed. They're not tired. They're right there, aren't they? Like a stone's throw.
Yeah, but why not? You gotta just kill him, I guess.
I mean, she does. She literally hoists someone from the flagpole and drops them.
The flagpole sit a kill.
I'm paranoid. I think everyone's coming to get me.
She hardly injured that girl.
Well, she had it coming. She was a cheerleader.
She was. She goes off on this whole screed of you're a cheerleader and a fornicator and you take drugs. You're a bigot and you're a nasty girl. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't need like 5 of those things. She's just been an awful person since she showed up.
She says at the end is, and to top it all off, you're really nice, as in like polite.
Yeah. But I like that she's naming them off, and she's like, no. She says no to a couple things, and she asks another question, and then she goes, well, yeah, of course. And she's like, 3. What did she say? Like 3 strikes or something like that.
3 strikes and you're out.
Strike 3. She's like, keeps asking, there's got to be something I don't like. There's got to be. Okay, there it is. That's the.
Mm-hmm. I love a slasher with like abandoned glee. Like Chucky and Bride of Chucky is the best version of Chucky. They go a little bit too far in Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky kind of loses it, but like Bride of Chucky is like that right pivot point. And it's why I like all of the Leprechaun movies, because the Leprechaun is just this in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's just like this abandoned glee. Like I am a cartoon character inserted into the most violent cartoon possible.
Yeah, they must have been the right amount of tired when they were writing it, because Angela has all the best lines. You try to be nice to a person, and look what it gets you.
Yeah.
She's doing a comedy bit the whole time. Like, hey, have you chopped wood before? No, but I've chopped other things. Or she puts a worm on the hook. She's like, here, let me show you how to do that. And she puts something on the hook. She's like, yeah, it gets easier.
Yeah. It gets
Later
easier.
in the same movie, they're like, "Oh, you're really good at that."
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
It's almost a little bit like meta, like breaking the fourth wall or whatever. Like it's almost kind of like she's in on it too. And it's very well done.
I gotta say, okay, topic of debate. You know, in the horror community, some people are like Felissa Rose, some people are like Pamela. I think they're both doing a good job because they're both doing different things. But I gotta say, Pamela is like really committed to this bit and just selling this character.
Yeah, she's it's the nonchalantness of it is great.
I aspire to be like her. You know, you gotta enforce boundaries. You gotta have fun.
Yeah.
Hashtag Angela did nothing wrong. Get that trending.
And it's like she's not terrifying. You're not looking at her like going like, oh my god, you're not genuinely scared of her like you are in a lot of other horror slasher movies where you see the bad guy, you're like, oh my god.
And
so
she's even framed like the protagonist. Like you're looking at the movie and you're rooting for her.
Which is actually kind of meta, because why horror movies tend to morph in this franchise is the first horror movie is always about being scared, right? So you create this monster that's supposed to terrify people. So you have Freddy who like shows up with like godlike powers, but he's burnt and he's disfigured, but he's also like lecherous and off-putting, and he could do seemingly anything, but he's in shadow, and when he's not, it's like horrifying, and he's got this deep voice, right? Contrast that with Freddy from like part 5, where he's just making wisecracks, right? The transformation that happens is the same transformation that happens with Michael. It's the same transformation that happens with. It's similar to the transformation that happens with Jason. Jason's it's a whole thing that I'd really like to talk about. But when we go from one sequel to the other, we get a whole new group of teenagers every time. So we get a whole new final girl. All of the bits and pieces are interchangeable except the slasher. The thing that brings you back is the monster. So you are doing the psycho thing where you're pivoting from the protagonist being Nancy, because now there's no Nancy, to the protagonist being Freddy, because he's the only constant. And so what happens as we go along is, in all of these movies, we start to focus on the monster side. Even though the movies are framing, well, we should look at this person or that person. That's not why we're coming back. And that's why the script knows that too, because the script gives Freddy better and better lines, funnier and funnier stuff, weirder stuff. Jason does weirder stuff. Halloween's a hot fucking mess, but like all of these movies do that, right? Where like we get more time with Pinhead. Pinhead's just a character, but now Pinhead is the character. What Sleepaway Camp is doing is it knows it's doing that, and it's dissecting that by saying, hey, isn't this kind of funny?
Yeah, I can get that. It is very self-aware in that aspect without being like too in your face self-aware like some things are, but it has a good flow to it, I should say. Like the scene we're coming up to right about here where they're fishing, and like you said, she mentioned the worm, but she pulls up a hockey mask. She pulls up like basically a Jason mask on there.
For out of the lake, yeah.
Yeah, and then they say...
What day is it anyway?
It's Saturday. Yeah, the 14th.
And of course, it takes place on Saturday the 14th, so...
Today was his birthday.
I thought that was a nice little reference that they put in there. So yeah, it is very meta and very self-aware of what's going on with it. This is according to this is where we get, she storms off and then she goes back to the tents, and Herman, our 50-year-old groundskeeper guy, is now inside the tent with a almost fully naked teenager.
Yeah. He was unzipping his pants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. But the match shot between the zipper pull of the tent and the zipper pull of the pants, that was art.
It was a great way to mask the sound of that. Absolutely.
So Angela sees them. They know about it. Herman freaks out. He follows Angela back out of the tent, trying to be like, Angela, you gotta understand. My old lady don't give me none no more. And like I can see why,
right?
But as he's groveling with his pants around his ankles, she just takes out this stick and she just starts beating him with a stick, and he's running away from her, and she's just following him, just beating him to death with a stick, and it's so funny.
It's just brutal, but it's like
it is brutally violent, but it's also funny that that's what they choose to do in this movie.
Yeah, it's just like she didn't have anything else to use at that time, and it's almost like she just works with what she's got there.
Yeah, which is funny because it's what Jason does too.
Yeah. That's true.
It has like the vibes of a little old lady chasing you around with a broom, trying to like beat you off.
Prepare to beat off.
You set us up for that one.
It's like old school Pee-wee's Playhouse. You say the magic word and everybody has to scream.
The whole time, the naked teenager in the tent is screaming, "Herman, come back. Herman, what are you doing? What are you doing, Herman? Come back in here." And she can see him getting beaten to death through the tent.
It's a beautiful shadow play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Eventually, Angela actually stabs Herman through the mouth. And that kills him somehow with the stick.
Yeah.
And then she comes out, she sees it, she screams. And does Angela beat her with a stick too?
Just hits her off the side of her head.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
I think it's one quick hit.
Then she just throws them both back in the tent and zips the tent up. And when people ask where they are, she's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Zero fucks given.
That's what I love about this movie. This pure swagger of zero fucks.
It's also why she's so relatable. I'll just take care of that later.
Cammy also has a tent full of dead bodies that she'll get to at some point.
Yeah, light them on fire, call it a day.
Yeah, okay. So there's this one kid who keeps harassing Angela by throwing firecrackers at her feet and scaring her.
Mm-hmm.
So what she does that night is because this is basically the very next scene, she shoves the firecrackers in his nose, lights them on fire, and blows his head off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think would exactly happen that way, but hey, who am I to guess? And
it depends on what kind of firecracker. If it's like an M80 or something, it could cause some damage.
She puts it right up his nose, so it's directly in there.
And he's sharing the tent with Snowboy. Been spraying graffiti on all the trees. He's the one who said that great dildo line.
He also says the name of the movie.
Teenage Wasteland!
What a dildo.
Just the way he says it while spray painting a tree. Just it's like, I'm not cleaning a fish. What a dildo. Like, what? Who says that?
And I'm like pretty sure she caves his head in two with a stick again.
Yeah.
She gets a lot of mileage out of that stick.
Okay, but then she lights the tents on fire. Can we talk about the tent scene?
How fast it catches in flames? Jesus.
That's the thing. Okay, she's dousing the whole thing in gasoline, which she doesn't need to do because it's a tent. It's already flammable. Also, the tent is water resistant, and you can see the gasoline just slough right off of it while you're watching. But again, it doesn't matter because it's a tent, and it's the most flammable thing on God's green earth set besides a house trailer. So she just throws a match and whoosh.
Oh, no, it's not a match. She lights a flare to toss in there.
Yeah, I think it was one of his firecrackers.
Oh, God.
Riff, was that his name?
Yes, it's Riff.
Oh,
No.
Riff was later.
Riff is the rap guy, right?
Oh, yeah. Riff is the rap guy. I had the hardest time with everyone's name in this movie. It's another one of those movies where nobody's name mattered.
Riff Raff. Go and assist Magenta.
No, it was not Riff Raff. Tony was the other guy. Bobby.
He was the politician.
Barney. Oh, gosh. No wonder I didn't remember any of these names.
You didn't erect any of these names?
Well, I didn't erect them either, but I didn't remember them.
You've got Angela, Marshy, Herman, Tony, Bobby, Lily, Riff, Cindy, Snowboy, Barney, Maria, Tawny, Greg, Peter, Anita, Arab, Jan, and Paramedic. I've read the entire cast list.
I'm Paramedic.
Wait. Did they not have a name for the cop who was in there with the paramedic?
You know what? Hold on. Let me see. It's policeman.
Policeman, okay.
And we also have ambulance driver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who did not make an appearance on screen.
And then, of course, the TV news cameraman and the reporter.
How can I forget the reporter?
Yeah, the reporter's the second kill of the movie while they are doing a story on Camp New Horizons before they all start to go into the woods. The reporter wraps up the segment and then asks Maria if she knows where she can score some coke in the woods.
Because she looks old and looks like she's...
Oh, this is the best part of the joke. There's a running joke every time someone sees Angela. They're like, hey, "Are you like you look older?"
Yeah, and she's like, a lot of drugs or something.
Because of course, in canon, Angela is supposed to be older, but also it's a great joke about how the fact that all of these teenagers are always in their 20s or 30s in these fucking movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reporter, she asks for a coke, and Angela's like, drugs will kill you. So she says, "I'll be right back." Goes and pours like Comet and household cleaners into a bag and gives them to her.
It was Comet. It makes your tongue turn green. Comet. It tastes like gasoline. Comet. It makes you vomit. So buy some and vomit today.
It also apparently makes you hemorrhage out your brain.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it the first time I watched it, but when I was on my rewatch, I heard kind of like a sizzling sound they put as a sound effect. It was literally burning her away.
It was a great touch. I don't know why they did that, but it was great.
Campcast 2024 is happy to provide safe lodging for your children as they develop their podcast skills. This beautiful summer camp is definitely not a quickly refurbished skeleton of an abandoned camp that was the site of a brutal crime scene. Yes, we can guarantee that the scenic nature experience your children have will be in no way tainted by a dark and abiding curse. No slasher continues to stalk these woods, and your children will be safe from harm and homicidal maniacs at Campcast 2024. Warning, sometimes conditions apply.
Yeah, so we're up to like 5 kills already.
Yeah.
16 people die in this movie.
That's pretty awesome. And then now she's killed everyone in her little cluster.
So what you're saying is the trailer lied. She didn't beat a record from the last movie.
She did not. She tries, but she does not.
She tries to slash her record.
So yeah, so she killed all the people around her. She needs to go and join another group under some false pretense.
Yeah, and she lures one of them away by like, "Oh, hey, they need to talk to you over on the other camp. We're switching sides." And then just goes and kills her out in the forest.
Yeah, but this time with an axe and a fake head.
Yeah. So she's stepping up with her tools.
But she's joining Lily's team now. So she killed Herman, her husband, her no good husband. And now you have Lily. Now Lily is great because Lily is running this camp by sitting in a lawn chair and cooking steaks while she makes the kids fish for their dinner.
Yes. And this had a couple of particularly good kill scenes. This segment of kids, I guess. This is where the flagpole comes in, which is a great one.
Yeah, that's the very next kill is the flagpole where she like hoists the girl who is, by the way, extremely racist.
Yeah, the racist rich girl who definitely deserves. She does drop the N-bomb too.
Yeah, a lot of slurs are said by this woman before she gets hoisted to the top of a flagpole and face planted down back to the concrete. So
yeah. Riff at that point actually takes like a bowl of oatmeal, shoves it in her face, and completely justified.
Yeah.
So Riff's in this place. Riff is a guy who's just going around with a boombox the whole time and doesn't really want to participate in the camp activities.
One of his greatest line that just made me laugh. I had to watch it like 4 times.
Riff, Maria and Bobby caught the fish. I think you should clean them.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Just fuck that shit. I'm not doing it. I don't care.
So this is great because as she kills people, then she gets forced to work for Lily around the camp. Lily makes her go out and fish with Bobby. They're tied up together because it's a trust exercise, so they're tied together and have to fish. It makes no sense.
No, but then Bobby seems to like it. Yeah. I didn't get the clip of him doing that, but
okay. So he says like 1 or 2 nice things about her, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Can I tell you what else? I like being tied up with you." And then tries to kiss her, And she's like, fuck off, right? Of course.
But girls like you always like that.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, he's the next to die.
Yeah, immediately just signed off on his own death warrant on that one. But they
At the beginning, like, there's hints, you know, because he looks at her straight at orientation, goes, so you're underprivileged.
So they catch the fish. Another great interaction is like they've got the fish, and so everyone's like, "Well, it's only if we did the fishing, it's only fair that Riff cleans them." That scene happens,
and he goes, "Fuck that shit."
And Angela's like, "I'll make him do it." So she walks into the tent, and she's like trying to get him to clean the fish, and he pulls a gun out on her. The most racist joke they could have come up with.
That's pretty bad.
Well, he had the gun because they took away his knife.
But the timing on it is so good because she's like, clean the fish. And he pulls out the gun. And then she immediately comes back out of the tent and says, Bobby, clean the fish.
Yeah. Yeah. And added him to the I'm going to kill you soon list.
Yeah.
Because she keeps trying to go to these groups to see if she can get along with everybody. And they're all just assholes and pieces of shit. So then she's like, I gotta kill them.
They're the worst people. So Lily is doing all this crazy shit where she's like, drinking coffee and cooking steaks while she makes everyone else fish for their dinner. She won't do any work at all. She's kind of lazing around. So Angela tricks her back to the main camp, buries her up to her head in a trash pit, and then
and then goes Frankenhooker on her.
Yeah, she takes a lawnmower on her. She runs a lawnmower over her head. So here's the part where I tell you that the original cut of this movie actually is way more violent, but they couldn't get the R rating, so they had to cut all these kills out. They are, however, on the Scream Factory Blu-ray release. So if anyone would like to go buy those movies and watch them, you can see that. They have Scream Factory.
Telling me this gets better?
It does get better. And Scream Factory has these great artistic posters on their slipcovers. It's fantastic.
All right.
I think you just talked me into one.
That's the problem with listening to me. I'm going to pick the worst movies, and I'm going to talk them up as if they're art, and I'm going to make you watch it. I'm going to make you want to watch
Winter Beast.
Winter Beast is fantastic. God damn it! Well, I have this Winter Beast slander on this pro cookie Christmas with Cookie podcast. We've got to come to the table on this one, Dustin. The plaid suit alone, my God. Cammy, I knew you watched Winter Beast, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
yeah.
Not fantastic. She's going to say it was not fantastic.
Yeah.
It was Winter Beast.
It was. And it was.
I am the lone Winter Beast stan crying out in the wilderness.
I
see that movie in my dreams, my restless dreams.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, except for Stillman and his sunglasses.
Stillman's a god.
But so back to this. So we got Lily, who just got lawnmowered dead. And now Bobby, the preppy dude that's now realizes he's into bondage, she decides to play into his kink and ties him up to a tree.
And then ties his arms to a Jeep and pulls.
And another great kill that you don't really see, but you see enough of it.
Yeah, and she said, again, he's like, no one can find out about this. Oh, if anyone did, I might not be able to run for office one day. So her line is one less idiot in politics, and then accelerates on the gas.
And one of the most awkward kills, I think, when she.
This is the worst part of the movie. Is it not the worst part of this movie?
Yeah, it's okay. I blocked it out.
Okay, Angela did do something wrong. In this supreme act of cringiness, she has recorded herself rapping
somehow. I don't know where she recorded, but okay.
No, I know where she recorded. This is something that they actually foreshadow greatly. When she gets the comment for the reporter kill, you see the tape recorder in that same pantry.
Oh, you do? Shit. She did stare at something, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, she was fiddling with it, and the first time I was going through, I was like, wait.
After she has her weird mental health crisis where she envisions a scene from the second movie, but only this time everyone likes her.
Yeah. I mean, did she record her little song before or after that vision? I think it was after. Because she was kind of feeling happy and feeling the vibe.
Yeah. So she records herself rapping, throws the empty throws the cassette into the tent with Riff, who has been listening to non-copyright quote unquote hip hop this entire time, and decides to play it. And you just hear Angela giving what I consider to be the worst rap since Debbie Harry in Rapture.
Well,
angels are pretty, angels can fly, and here is an angel that can make you die. You've got no style, you've got no flair. All you do is fight and swear. So say your prayers and make amends, 'cause your life story is about to end.
And then the man from Mars stopped eating cars, and now he only eats guitars. It's the same goddamn thing.
It really is. Which came first? Debbie Harry.
Debbie Harry came first.
Yeah.
She contends she invented rap, so something needs to be done about Debbie Harry.
I think Rap and Duke came out before her, though. So
Yeah.
those are right around the same time.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is the worst part. And then what she does is she zips the temp out and takes a hammer
And just starts swinging.
and like she impales his hands down, and then she through the tent finds his head and starts whapping it.
Yeah.
And then she walks off, and the camera stays on the nail. And part of me wanted her to like come back and then hit it one more time.
Right, just one more,
Yeah.
one for the road. Yeah, it's like, you know, her weapons are increasing with every kill. It's like playing Mega Man in the camp. Like you kill that one guy, now you got his weapon, and cool. Now she's
Which is literally true because she takes his gun.
yeah, which you don't really see. I don't remember seeing her take the gun, but
Yeah, no, but she has it.
she has it later, and she's like, oh hey,
Gun added to inventory.
right.
So she infiltrates the third camp being run by the cop, and he's like, I don't know if this is true. Let's go talk to the other people. And but she convinces, but one of the other girls wants to walk with her, who's been in love with Tony this whole time, Marcia and Tony, right? So so the entire movie has been intercut with scenes of this other camp and the kids hanging out and having actual fun with the cop. And Tony and Marcia have been I think it was Marcia. Is it Tracy Griffith?
Yeah. I think it was. I think it was Marsha. Yeah.
Marsha.
Yes, Marcia.
As like the two somewhat decent people.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, she's not very decent. She's cheating on her boyfriend.
It's so funny though.
They're having a hot summer fling.
Yeah, he is like a decent guy.
Yeah, but they've been having a thing. Marcia goes with the cop, and they're going and Angela, and they're going to go back to the other tent to,
the handoff or whatever.
But then Angela really actually sprains her ankle. I thought she faked it at first, but no. So as they're walking, she slips and falls and twists her ankle. So they all three go back to the main camp for medical supplies, and the cop is dressing Angela's wound. And Marcia's like, is these stories you're telling us at the camp too? Is Lily just sitting around all day? And Angela's like, yeah, she's sitting outside right now. Go check on her.
Yeah. Yeah, go look at her. Yeah, I love just the nonchalantness of it. Just go out there.
And she says something about don't lose your head or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when she goes out there, so I guess when you think about the implications of this, she went after she ran that lady's head over with a lawnmower. She dug her body back up, carried it over, and set it in that chair.
Well, if you've ever seen Friday the 13th, staging is an extremely important part of slasher movies.
Of course.
You can't just murder people. You have to say, actually, it goes back to Halloween, because in Halloween, he does some Michael does some creative staging in the home with the Judith Myers grave and everything, right? And Jason does this all the time where he has people drop from rafters and stuff. There's like murder victim feng shui.
You got to have showmanship to it.
Some of it is just camp too. You got to have arts and crafts. You got to have talent shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we've all seen Wet Hot American Summer. And so Angela's doing the same thing, and she does do this to a larger degree in the very creepy scene in Sleepaway Camp 2, when you find out that everyone she's killed, she's just been moving back to this one cabin and just staging them like it's a dead man's party, just hanging out, all these corpses. So it's not like she doesn't do this prior. There's press, like Supreme Court. There's precedent for this.
Are you kink shaming here, Patrick? Is that what's going on?
Am I kink shaming? No.
Where do you stand on necrophilia?
Yeah, I can't think of a good pun. Whatever makes you stiff. Don't watch Necromantic though, or Necromantic 2.
No, is there a third one better? Is there a part 3?
No, there is not. Thank God there's not. I'm not watching this fucking movies. Jesus. There's a limit here.
Maybe the third one turns it around.
I think there's an American Guinea Pig Part 3.
No. You stop. You stop.
Was there an
Yeah,
American Guinea Pig 1?
Yeah.
I think there's like 6 or 7 of them.
They're torture porn movies, Cammy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, there's always what was that one movie? Something Grime Wave, Gimcock something. What was that?
Cockface 3.
Cockface 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need you to lie to me and tell me that American Guinea Pig is a mascot sports animal movie.
Yeah, and you know what? Yes, that's exactly what it is. And Dear Zachary is a hilarious comedy that you should go watch.
And they just call any movie that comes out of Serbia a Serbian film.
That's a fine one too.
Yeah, don't watch any of these.
Don't. It was Grime Wave Cockface 3. That's what the movie was called. Let's not get our stories
Do
twisted.
they have a literal cock for a face?
I don't know.
Don't ask questions like that. He might answer them.
We went and looked up some of the name of the characters and decided that it was probably a bit of a problematic film.
Yeah. Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
We can always move on.
He is the
considering what we are
killer
covering currently, you know it had to be rough.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any substance behind it.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, here's a weird name, like, like let's name a guy Cyrus C. Litton. Or Rusty Nuts. Or,
yeah, those were names. Yeah, I remember that. Oh no,
there's nothing problematic about that.
I would have totally believed those were just off the cuff.
Yeah, those are written down, set in stone on IMDb.
So yeah, we probably won't cover that.
But back to this movie.
We're almost at the end of it here.
It's clearly the game is up. The cop realizes who Angela is, and he's in a great position to do something about it, and he doesn't. He has this coming, right? Am I wrong here?
Oh, he's trying to be a little cocky about it. He's trying to be like, hey, I know where you're at now. I got you, and you're just this innocent girl, or not innocent, but he knows, I think he thinks he has the upper hand here.
Just the guy in Austin Powers screaming in front of the steamroller for 3 minutes before it hits him.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because he's like, "What are you gonna do this time, Angie? You're gonna you quoted this at the beginning. Where like you're gonna stab me. You're gonna burn me. You're gonna make me eat battery acid or something." And he's like,
is it going to be a chainsaw?
The best part about this is the whole time she's kind of like, nodding along, but when she says, is it going to be a chainsaw, she kind of like looks away like, that's a good thought. I might use a chainsaw later.
Not a bad idea.
But then she's like, no, a gun. She shoots him.
Yeah. No, gun. Boom, boom. Like no time given. It's like,
and she runs out that building. And this is the cool thing is like she's limping the entire time because she actually sprained her ankle and gets in the Jeep, chases Marcia down, and goes and ties her up. And then the final part of the movie comes into play, which is she shows up at camp. There's 3 people left. She's like, hey guys, everyone's got to go back to the main camp now. There's some trust exercise they want us all to do. Come on, let's go. And then she convinces them all to let her tie them up because it's a part of the trust exercise. Drops a dead body out of a tree, scratches one of their faces with a knife, and is like, we're gonna play a fucking game.
Yeah,
2 minutes. Let's
not
go.
messing around.
It's camp. Let's play a game. You have 2 minutes to find. Marcia's tied up in one of these cabins. You have 2 minutes to find them. If you don't, I'll kill you. If you try to escape, I'll kill you. And if you try to hurt me in any way, I will kill you. And they don't move. She's like, do you think I'm fucking joking? And she like cuts one of their faces with a knife. You just lost 15 seconds. God damn. And then they scramble.
And they were so mean to Angela that they burned down her murder tableau from the second movie. Yeah. But she got to recreate some of that here in each of the 2 cabins.
With more staged bodies.
Mm-hmm. And so they're running in, checking cabin to cabin, screaming at these corpses laying everywhere.
Yeah, just kind of watching it all happen
from room to room.
It's very, it's very kind of Saw related. Like I'm setting up this trap and you got to do it, but she doesn't come off as sinister as Saw, as Jigsaw Killer.
She's downright joyful. She is skipping.
Like,
Literally skipping.
He's giving them a chance, an opportunity.
And the trap is they go into the last room, 2 axes fall, kills everyone but Tony, so that Tony and Marsha are the last ones left. And she's like, she cuts them. I don't know if she cuts them. I think she puts a knife around, or maybe she doesn't. She basically.
I think she places the knife in Marsha's hand.
She's like, the phone lines have been cut. The nearest payphone is 2 miles away. You guys have a nice life.
Yeah, you guys were all right.
Y'all were nice.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I had a crush on Tony, but I think y'all look good together.
Yeah. You know, that was very, very progressive of her. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe things will work out between you guys and not us. That's okay.
Also, probably better that she wasn't dating Tony because, she's 25 here? He's 17?
Well, at least she's not 50.
True. Is that just a thing in these movies, though? Because, in the first one, too, there was, I think, Meg, the one camper. Yeah, of, really old men and the teenagers that are horny for them.
Oh, you mean, fuck.
That's what they want, yeah.
No. What the fuck is that guy's name? He's like a famous actor. Hold on. Mel though. Mel is the guy running the Camp Arawak and Sleepaway Camp, and he's in his 70s, and this 15-year-old is like, I want to fuck his old brains out. What?
Prepare to beat off.
Mike Kellen. This was his last film. Mike Kellen agreed to do the movie, and then his agent was like, "No, he's not doing this fucking movie." I don't know if she was an actress or a production assistant at the time. I think both, but she eventually becomes Hiltze's wife. Michelle goes and finds him and convinces him to do this movie, and he dies before it's ever released. That's Mel.
Wow. He gave his everything in it, though. I loved his acting with the misdirection of, could it be Ricky and his increasing paranoia to where he just starts beating this 12-year-old half to death with his fists.
He originally died in the original draft of the script, but Robert had second thoughts and he didn't. And the only thing that Hiltze says he regrets in that film is having Angela murder the 4 kids who were camping. He's like, that's the only one that didn't make sense. I shouldn't have done it.
Oh, I thought they were the ones that threw sand at her.
Oh, they were. Yeah, you're right. They did.
Ooh, she really took that personally.
Yeah, he thought he probably went a little too far with that one. He said, but that's the only thing he would have changed. I might have changed it. I might have changed enough. 1 or 2 other things. The movie is extremely dark in some ways that people don't talk about. Because again, Mel clearly is doing some fucked up shit, but also there is an outright pedophile that he's employing on staff that gets burned alive.
Yeah, first kill.
But that's and we're this is the very last bit of the movie. So
Marsha decides that she's gonna try to escape, right?
Well, she escapes, but she's not just gonna let Angela go because Angela just murdered everybody. So she's kind of upset at her. Then she chases after her, and fight breaks out, and she stabs the ever-loving shit out of Angela quite a few times in the belly.
And then Angela has that great line.
You try to be nice to a person, and look what it gets you.
Because she's like, I tried to let you guys live, and see, now I'm just going to be a bitch. Sorry.
And it just shows character growth, too. In the second movie, you've got her chasing after this girl, she can't leave her alone. In this one, she goes, I've had my fun. I can leave.
You guys are all right. You haven't pissed me off. You haven't done anything racist, and you're okay. Except for she does say she's at the end of this is where she reveals that she's got a boyfriend back home, and then she goes, "But you can still come and visit."
It's so good. Tony's like, we can be together forever. She's like, Tony, I've got a boyfriend. It's so good. But then it cuts to the epilogue of Angela in the ambulance, and the cop is just trying to convince the paramedics, we could end this right now. She's a murderer. We could stop it. And the cop's like, okay. And the paramedic's like, okay. And he goes to give her a poison dose. And she takes the syringe and just kills both the paramedic and the cop. Gloriously violent thing. And the ambulance driver's like, what's going on back there? And the final words of the entire Sleepaway Camp trilogy is Angela going, just taking care of business. Roll credits, heavy metal.
And see, it was that brief little interaction because they had to make the people she killed worse than she is, because that's how you kind of relate to it, or kind of, you kind of go, oh, hey, it's not terrible. So, they threw in that really quick line of the cop and the ambulance driver, or the EMT in the back, were just willing to kill her. And they're like, well, now you fucked up. Now you die too. You should, if you would have just let her die and not said anything, then it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, yeah, bad things happen to bad people.
The Sleepaway Camp movies.
Get your comeuppance here.
Exactly.
God, what a fantastic piece of filmmaking.
So yeah, that was the movie. It was better than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
Yep. How did you like it, Cammy?
It was so much fun. I don't think I've had so much fun with a slasher ever.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good. If you like lighthearted comedies that are also violent horror films, and also have a dose of just a lot of like weirdly problematic things, like the racism and the all of the weird sex stuff. Go ahead, have fun with this one. Sleepaway Camp 3. I've never recommended a movie that you feel good recommending to other people, but everything I recommend is at least fun.
Can you really put a price on your children's happiness? Found on Shelf thinks you can. For just $2,000 a week, Campcast 2024 can provide your children with a catapult they need to also be an adult with a podcast. Everyone has one. Do you really want your child to be left behind? Contact us today, because this special one-time pricing is only available for the next 48 hours from whenever you're hearing this.
Fun. I don't remember things being
I didn't
fun.
recommend things.
I don't know if Pieces was
Pieces
fun.
is extremely fun. Are you kidding me? The man gets on an elevator concealing a running chainsaw behind his back, and the other person doesn't know he's at. He kills a woman in a waterbed that's in the quad. It's sitting in the quad. Why is the waterbed there? What about the fucking kung fu fight where he goes, oh, that's just my kung fu professor. You're telling me you didn't have fun watching fucking Pieces? Come on.
Okay, maybe I enjoyed it.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Yes.
How to trap Patrick. You get, a piece is on the ground, another piece is on the ground, and just like E.T., he's going to go right up to it.
You just lay down a couple of really bad like VHS tapes, and he'll just like follow the trail.
Yeah, exactly like the Family Guy joke.
Ooh, VHS! I gotta pop this in.
Let's see. I want to point out some fun things. So, do you remember in Sleepaway Camp 2, you have Allie, the kind of slutty girl?
Yeah.
So that's played by an actress named Valerie Hartman. She stayed on as a production assistant, an assistant to the director for this movie. So she was an actress in the first and the second one, and she stayed on to be a production assistant in this one. But she's also credited in the film credits of Sleepaway Camp 3 as the raccoon wrangler.
Oh, wow.
Wait, so that she was wrangling raccoons in? Oh, there was that one scene with the raccoon.
She wrangled that raccoon.
Yes.
Do you get licensed for that, or do you just start wrangling raccoons?
You just start one day. Whenever the raccoon needs to be wrangled. You know what we should do is we should ask the
Killer Raccoons guys.
Is there a third one of those coming out?
But allegedly. I don't know when. I don't know when it will come out.
We'll be past that.
So what you're telling me is, Patrick, right now, you can go out to your trash can, find a raccoon, bring it in, and put it on the podcast.
I wouldn't, but a person could.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to one of the ones from Killer Raccoons movie because they're dead. It might smell bad.
I don't think it would make good audio though.
No, we don't have a visual medium yet, so. Sorry to our faithful Threads fan, Northern Monkey. We do not have a video feed just yet.
I mean, the secret, I've actually just been a raccoon this entire time. So when we do get video, I think it might blow the gale.
Is that why you didn't like Killer Raccoons 2?
I just took it personally.
Yeah. All right.
Just bad rep.
Bad rep.
I think Trash Pandas 3 is going to be pretty good. I think it was called the Night Bandits on the Moon or something like that. I don't know. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in pre-production, so we'll see.
Did they have a sensitivity advisor for raccoons so that Patrick can feel included?
Yeah, they worked with the one from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's unionized. digital effect artists got that, right?
We are talking about a movie where they literally hawked dead raccoons on screen and called that VFX.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that was
okay. But the effects, if we're talking effects, going to the first movie, those kills were stunning. Like seeing the drowned kid in the canoe, seeing the bee sting body, everything like that. Those were really good.
Yeah, they did a lot of insane stuff with that. Like the pedophile that gets boiled alive, like he's got like all these prosthetics on him, and there's got a false floor that he's sitting on top of, and they're blowing air from underneath into the prosthetics to make the bubbling boils.
That was intense.
Wow.
Having a POV, you are burning alive.
That movie is the movie's crazy because you've got some actors there. Did you know that shit? My brain just completely short-circuited. Help me out here, Darth Vader.
James Earl Jones?
Yeah. James Earl Jones' father is the cook who replaces the pedophile that gets murdered.
He's not the step cook. He's the cook that stepped up.
Wow.
Some fun facts about this movie. So I'd like to say, so the total death count for this movie is 16. Previous film was 19. I think the first film's like 12. Altogether, Angela kills 47 men, women, and actual children. I do want to say it's the official stance of this podcast that Angela did nothing wrong.
He's 47.
This is an extremely busy serial killer.
Man, she could have gone for an even 50.
I know. We needed to get that other sequel.
Yeah.
She's working on it.
Well, I guess if we ever find a copy of Part 4.
So there was a fourth movie that was greenlit. However, Double Helix Films, the production company behind these movies, went out of business in the production of that movie. So only about 40 minutes were ever shot, and obviously never effects or mastered. The Sleepaway Camp fan website did edit a rough cut together with that and the other three movies to make kind of like a semi-movie at some point, and that was released, I think. The original movie was Sleepaway Camp 4 Survivor. I think this rough cut was released at some point. I forget the title for that one is, but it's really hard to get a hold of. And then Hiltzik did come back. I'm saying his name right? But yeah, the original writer-director of Sleepaway Camp, the creator, he does come back. By the way, since he couldn't get his film career off the ground after making Sleepaway Camp, he became an attorney.
All right.
But he does come back and makes Return to Sleepaway Camp, which is a legacy sequel to the first movie that ignores all of these sequels and has Felissa Rose as Angela again.
Ooh, bringing in the best.
That one is also a little challenging to get a hold of currently. There's not a re-release of it that I have been able to find, but it did get released at some point. It's out there. Hopefully we'll get a re-release of that. I think it's probably going to feel wildly different than these movies will, because Sleepaway Camp is wildly different. Did you like the part of the first movie where they stopped the entire movie dead to just play softball?
I was hoping there would be a payoff for it, but there was no baseball bat kill.
The payoff was the line, "Eat shit and live, Bill."
Yeah.
That's a fantastic line.
The movie is unhinged in ways that just do not get talked about. Go watch Sleepaway Camp. It's good. If you feel weird about it, donate to Trans Lifeline. Actually, just donate to Trans Lifeline anyway, and then go watch Sleepaway Camp.
I gotta say, I got Hitchcock vibes when I was watching the first Sleepaway Camp. You know, that slow panning landscape shots, and really took me there.
Well, did you notice that the panning landscape shots were in autumn?
I did not.
Anyway, production schedules matter.
And, again, Winter Beast. How much of that was shot in the winter?
Can one really even put a time on Winter Beast?
It's like over 8 years
outside of the mortal realm of reckoning.
Oh, boy.
It's always winter if you apply a blue filter.
They didn't even do that.
No.
There's jack-o'-lanterns at one point.
That's right. Oh, no.
And we do all of this in service of our plaid-suited god, the lodge owner from Winter Beast.
Yes.
I have a question.
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance.
So, Cammy, when we talk Jane Schoenbrunn or Mia Moore Marchant into actually remaking a new version of Sleepaway Camp, what 3 things would you change?
All right. She has this wig the whole time, and obviously it's a look. It's there, but I want it to come off. Not just to be a reveal of, oh, this is Angela, because they have no idea what she looks like. No one got pictures of her in the last movie. I want her to take off the wig, and she needs to use it for a kill.
A wig kill.
Yeah, you can just choke somebody with it or something, just shove it in their mouth. I could go for that.
All right, what else?
The second, the kill with Lily, where she pushes her back into the garbage. The whole time, Lily's just sort of flailing around there while she's having a song sung to her and getting buried up to her neck in dirt, screaming as loud as she can, and at the very least, like, hit her knees with the shovel, bend them back the opposite way. You know, I want to see why this lady isn't crawling out of the garbage.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. What's your third one? Oh God, it's worse.
After the first collection of campers are killed, the tent is burning, and she takes a moment to put marshmallows on a stick.
Yes, I know where you're going.
That scene needs to continue.
Yes.
And we actually see her actually roast the marshmallows. We need to learn more about the psychology of this killer. Does she go
I think it would give like a smoky flavor to it.
Like, you know, is she one of those that goes low and slow or burn and blow?
Okay, so to recap, Cammy, you would make no structural changes to this film. You just want better kills.
I want better kills, and I want a better insight to Angela as a person. Like, at the very least, we see she double stacks the marshmallow, so we can tell she's indulgent, and that is reflected in how she goes through her kills.
Are you trying out for the new season of Profiler?
I
catch the jack of all trades killer this time, Cammy. I can feel it.
I mean, I totally agree about the marshmallows though. That was like, it was such an edge, and there was just nothing. It was just like did they just not want to waste the marshmallows on set? Were they that cheap? Where they're like, I needed it. Yeah, I think that would have that kind of bugged me too. I was like, oh yeah, she's just gonna sit there and roast marshmallows and sing songs. That would have been like a perfect little psychotic moment.
If I can't eat a marshmallow, I at the very least need to see Angela eating one for us. That's a victory in my book.
All right. Hey, Dustin, did you have anything you'd want to change?
I would have liked her to be able to kill more people than she did in part 2. I think she should
go break that record.
Yeah, we should have broken that record for sure. What other things would I have changed? More raccoons. If you're gonna have a raccoon handler, get some more raccoons involved.
I didn't say handler; I said wrangler.
Handler.
Here's how I interpret that. If you want to bear with me, they decided they needed a raccoon. She was there. And they're like, go grab that one.
Yeah. No, that's exactly
in the woods. She went onto the set with like a broom or something.
It was probably
I was
just
thinking
there.
a wrangler. You know, a handler uses thick gloves. A wrangler uses a lasso.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if there's a joke I could play off that one.
I don't know. The swing and a miss.
Okay, so more raccoons. What else?
More raccoons, more kills, and I don't know the third one. Gosh, I couldn't even think of a third one right off the top of my head. I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen somebody drowned. You got a big lake right there. Just I don't know.
Wait, did someone drown, or did you just want to see someone piss in the lake? They got a lake to piss in.
Both.
You're right. This is fantastic.
You catch them as they're pissing, shove them in.
Be like redneck zombies. The guy pissing in the pond. Oh boy.
Well, gang, this was a weird one. How do you feel?
Wait, Patrick, I think we have a viewer voicemail to play. I don't know if you want to play that now or play that later. Or a listener.
Well, yeah, that's your thing. Go ahead and tell the people how they can leave us a voicemail.
So if you just go on to foundonshelfpod.com, that is our website. You'll find all the links to everything, all our social feeds, and there'll be a little button there. You can leave us a voicemail. So feel free to click it, tell us your name, and maybe we will play it on a future episode.
Do you have one to play now?
Yes, I did get one. I just got it today, so I uploaded it without listening. So we'll see how it goes. Hang on, let's see if this works.
Let's see. Grocery list for starting a summer camp. 3,000 pounds of mystery meat ought to do it. Do they sell bug juice, or do you have to make that? Anti-slasher survival kit. I wonder if they make machete repellent. Oh, shit, this is the wrong app. Oh, sorry. I was just doing some planning. I was trying to do like a voice memo to get the list of things that we need today, some bear traps for, nondescript locations to make sure that no one's stalking the camper, stuff like that. And I might have pushed the wrong button.
Okay. So if you would like to tell us your plans for the future this summer, just leave a message. I don't know what to do with that information there, Patrick.
We just did a few things before we opened the place up. How are we feeling? How's everything going?
After watching all these, I want to go to camp. I've got plans now.
Well, you're here at the Future Podcaster Camp.
You want to pop on for Fred 3 next week?
Oh God! What if you wrong?
Yes.
Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap it up?
No plugs for me.
No plugs.
Okay.
Those are dangerous, don't you know?
Not if you use a flared bass. We are the Found on Shelf podcast. If you like what we do here, please rate and review our podcast. Would you let me finish a goddamn sentence? Please rate and review. It helps a lot. You might even have your review right on air. Like this one we got on Apple Podcasts by Dorothy Kale. It says 5 stars. I couldn't find any of these movies on my shelf, but the hosts are pretty funny, so I guess that makes up for it. If you want your review to be read too, just review us on Apple Podcasts or any review site. We are on any podcatcher of your choice. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Anywhere things are found on shelves.
That life.
Well, those are our socials.
Only farmers.
We are found on shelfpod.com. We are found on Shelf Pod, and we are on all of those websites. As Web 2.0 crumbles around us, we will be there on all of your social media sites posting.
Until we are replaced by our AI overlords.
I don't see that happening. I've seen the AI. It seems bad.
Yeah,
it's not working.
Our overlords will just have a couple extra fingers on their hands. That's all.
Show me your fingers, Destin. How many you got?
Show me your hand.
Prepare to beat off.
Oh, stop it.
All right. Well, if anyone has anything else to add, I think that is our show. Let me play you out.
All right. You're gonna play us out, or you want me to play you out?
I'm gonna play us out.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the summer sun. I love the trees and forest. I'm always having fun. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the clear blue sky. And with the grace of God, I'll camp until I die.
See, I had this all queued up for you. Oh shit, that's the Josh Kirby one.
God damn it.
How does that keep happening to me? Wait, where's this? What's this one then? How do I keep uploading the wrong one?
Just taking care of business.
You having fun? The fun has just begun.
I can rock out to this.
I mean, it might be better than the lyrics to Angela's theme.
Yeah, it's just like, it's good stuff, man. I'm not even like a big metal fan, but something about 80s glam rock is just fun.
And that's why I chose Sleepaway Camp, for the camp value. Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride.